God bless Alai, ladies and gentlemen. And pardon the bundled up in the robe. I'm feeling a little left out in the cold, like the Cyclones. Left out of the Battle Corps playoffs by .5 points. And I could sit here and do a parody and tell you that, like, the Battle Corps playoffs is broken. The fact that they can't let in a team like the Cyclones, who in their last couple games are clearly better than the Fireballs, and instead they're going to put the Fireballs in there just because they have half a point more. But the truth of the matter is there's nothing to complain about here, ladies and gentlemen. But are we going to complain? You betcha we're going to complain about it. But the truth is you don't have anything to complain about, because why? The Battle Corps playoff system is easy and fair. Get more points, period. You get more points, you're in. We didn't get more points. Sorry, we had injuries. Was this a playoff caliber team? Good question here. You know what? This makes me think. Mike Ryan came on this show and called Brian an effing idiot. And then he looked him in his eye as best he could. And he promised him, he promised me, he promised you, Clone Cartel, that he would field a playoff caliber team. And so I guess before we break down everything as to why we're left out in the cold, what happened and why, and complain our little bit, we need to ask the question, is Mike Ryan a liar? Well, no, he's not a liar. You think I'm going to come on here and say he's a liar? This was a playoff caliber team. If you think Mike Ryan's a liar, you're an idiot. There's no Brian here or Ty to push back or say something ridiculous and stupid like this. It's only me, Nasty Nate, of the Fan Lebitard Show, the Fan Lebitard Show podcast, the fastest growing Dan Lebitard Show fan YouTube channel, here with our God Bless Highlight portion of the proceedings. But you already knew that, right? Mike Ryan's not a liar, folks. That was a playoff caliber team. He can't help it that people got injured. So I'm not going to get on Mike or ownership about anything. Get out of here. So let's get to the court. You know what? I'm not even going to. I came up with this idea, and we'll title the episode, and we'll have our colorful title, the neon, the jungle stuff, all that. If you see that. Is Mike Ryan a liar? I'm not even going to make that the thumbnail for this episode. You know what the thumbnail of this episode is? Who ordered the code red? Or just code red or something. Because let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I finally watched Renegades Fireballs. I kind of followed along. I wasn't actually able to watch it live at the time because, again, I'm West Coast. These 2 o'clock start times. I'm still working while that's happening, and I was unable to watch the game, followed along on my phone, like refreshing the Battle Court match results or whatever, would periodically check in. And what did I tell you, folks? It was going to come down to Correa and Flores and those guys. And Ben, yeah, we'll throw you in there. And what happened? They didn't come through. Correa and Ben lost. And what did I just do? I finally watched the Correa and Flores one. Why? Because that one was close. Correa and Flores lost in straight sets, 4-6, 4-6. So I wanted to look back and break that all down. So I watched the entire set, and ladies and gentlemen, first takeaway, highlight is a game of inches, man. And that's what the Correa and Flores won. Game of inches, little bit game of inches, little bit game of Correa and Flores. Man, I'm not gonna say it yet. Game of inches. Why? First set, 5-4 Fireballs. Jedin fires off I think 3 wall. No, not a 3 wall. How could that be a 3 wall? No. But a shot off the wall into the back corner towards the cage, which frequently those shots can go long. They can take an unexpected Magic City bounce, go long, end up outside. And this shot, the second it goes off the wall, you're like, ooh, that's dropping back in that corner, where a lot of times you see the ball go back there, it goes out of bounds. And when it was sailing, I was like, oh, that's going to go out of bounds. Although in my head, I knew it wasn't, because I already knew this match was going to end 4-6. I was like, that's going to land in, even though unknowingly I'm like, that's going out. All right, 5-5. It landed just barely in, like a clear mark. I'd love to say that, oh, they should have challenged it, should have reviewed it, but the ball left a clear, beautiful mark, and just like within like an inch of touching the out of bound lines. And remember, in highlight, if that ball even so much as just grazes the tiniest bit of the line, that's out of bounds and a point for the Renegades, and we're going 5-5 for a final point to decide that set. Unfortunately, the set ended there, but I would like to take it back a little bit, because in each of these sets, man, the Renegades got up. Correa and Flores, both sets, were up 2-0 and squandered that lead. I mean, if ESPN or Battlecore dedicated a little bit more to like win probabilities in it and analytics, I'd be able to sit here and tell you teams that go up 2-0 in a set win like, so and so much percentage of a time, or their win probability at this point was this. So I guess all I'll say is more than 50% of the time when a team goes up 2-0, they win that match. And yet they couldn't do it. And in each match, they were actually up 4-3. I'd love to tell you that a specific percentage or win probability that they had there, but I don't have the time to do high analytics. So instead, I'll just tell you that more than 50% of the time, teams that are up 4-3 win the set, and yet they didn't. So what happened? Well, for starters, in the first one, the Renegades Correa. I thought Correa had a reputation as a strong server. Yet this guy in the first set lobs up some weak serve that's like the easiest, like straight to jet and easiest pick. It's like he's giving him the points. Almost like he didn't want to face him. And then, you know what? That ball comes rocketing quickly up the middle, and Correa can't catch it. And he was kind of just not, oh, whoa, look at me. Like, look at this. Like, that's not a good look for Correa. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see here, I've got a still image up of Correa here with kind of a smile on his face and like, oh, whoops-a-daisy. What's going on here, Correa? Like, is not a good look. And there were some other plays where, like, Correa had 2 drops in this that it was like, these are not good drops. Like, some that are like, it looked like it was almost clearly in the basket, and like he almost stopped his motion and the ball just falls out. Like, what is happening there? There's 2 instances there in the first set. That serve, it's like, man, Correa, I thought you're known as like having some power, and it was a really weak, pathetic serve. I'm going to say that was pathetic, Correa. That serve was pathetic. But then in the first set, there were like, I haven't seen a lot of Correa and Flores and why they're only a 3-6 team, but I can tell you after watching it, I understand why you're a 3-7 team with a over negative 40 point differential. Actually, no, wait, they're not negative 40 point differential. Why you're actually really close. Because guess what? Watching this, I was like, talent wise, there's not that much of a talent disparity between Jedin and Cabrera versus Correa and Flores. So why is Jedin and Cabrera one of the better teams and Flores and Correa one of the worst in Battle Court? It comes down to a simple thing: communication. Correa and Flores suck at communication. You guys suck at communication. We all saw it a couple weeks ago when you blew up at each other. And yeah, the announcers were gracious and generous and mentioned, hey, already when they were up 2-0, hey, their communication's already looking better. Yeah, they could have not talked at all on the court, and their communication would have been better than the last time those two were on the court. So yeah, their communication was better. But guess what? It still sucked, because twice you see plays that teams that communicate and work together, they don't make these kind of mistakes, or they don't make them twice in one set. So there's one instance where the ball is going to the back. Let's see. What am I? Oh, that's I'm looking at the video here. So there's one instance in where the ball is going to the back corner, and for whatever reason, Flores decides, like, I'm not going to get this. I'm going to get out of the way for Correa. And Correa is just not even ready for the ball. Like, really bad. Like, Flores looks totally clueless as to Correa and what his partner's doing and what he should be doing. Like, Flores, it should have not even been a rebote. Flores should have got the ball, and there should have been no rebote attempt by Correa, because Flores should have just got it. So really bad communication, but he's expecting Correa to get there, and Correa is expecting him to get it, which Flores should have. And even, I think it was Stu, I disagree. Stu said that's a little bit on Correa because he's an aggressive player and he's not communicating. Or maybe, like, yeah, if Correa is saying the second it passes him, you. But you can see Correa does talking. He's like, hey, that ball bounced right there. And I kind of agree with Correa. Like, it's obvious where that ball hits that first bounce, and where Flores and Correa are both located. That was a much easier play for Flores to just go and get it. But Flores he's got that cocky attitude. If you remember, if you're really in depth on that, of Flores saying I'm Flopez because I catch everything, I guess you didn't want to catch that one there, Flopez. You let that one go by. And that's a little bit of Flores's downfall in that, because he's actually not that bad of a catcher. It's just you're timid. Hey, you play not fully. You're confident, but you don't play fully confident. You should have gone aggressively and trusted yourself and gotten that ball and saved the Cyclone season. But shame on us for putting our season in your hands. So what else happened in this match to help us go wrong? Well, again, there was another bad miscommunication. And this one, I totally agree, was completely on Correa. Like, there's a ball that's bouncing that Correa could, if he knows where Flores is, he could go and get this ball. I mean, I would argue, like, it's just really bad positioning on both of their parts. They're both standing, like, so close to each other that, like, again, why would you do that? There's two of you. You need to cover the court. You should not be this close together. And you both of you, like, Correa, bad position on your part. Why are you there? You're setting it up so Correa has to go and run and get everything. Although I'd argue, hey, Correa, that was flip side. But on the other flip side of that, you could go and say, hey, Correa, like, you could have easily just sprinted and got that. Instead, you assumed that Flores would be in position without any communication. So that one, now said, yeah, that's clearly on Correa. He's, like, not communicating. I just say he's not aware at all of the positioning of his teammate and making assumptions. And is Flores in bad positioning? Yeah, but you got to communicate and talk. So in a 4-6 match, you have two just abysmal, terrible miscommunications that lead to points where you guys don't even get your cesta on the pelota. Inexcusable. That happens to good teams every once in a while. That was a common occurrence. I mean, I don't think it happened again in the second set. From what I remember, they just had a lot of drops and Correa not playing well. And yeah, that shot ended with the jet in. I don't know what kind of name you'd come up for that. the Jedin miracle shot there of just bouncing in. Great shot by Jedin. Like Jedin, of all those things, one of my takeaways, Jedin. Great job. Like catching all these serves. Second set, I'm not going to go as in depth into the second set. More of the same. Correa drops. Flores had a drop in there. I think Jedin picked another serve in that one, or maybe he just tried to, but I know this ended because Correa tried to pick two serves in this thing and just dismal attempts too. Like, why are you trying to pick so many serves? Again, if there is advanced analytics, I would break down things like, hey, what percentages of Correa's serves normally get picked? And how often does Jedin actually pick serves? Like last time I checked, I don't think Jedin tries to pick that many serves. But he was going for it there, and Correa was trying to, and you were not that good at picking serves. I mean, he did pick one and rifle it in that second set, but he tried two other. Like, you're trying to pick 3 serves and 30% success rate. Maybe try something else. Sorry. So just again, I mean, I wanted to at this point bring in the Cyclone, but it's kind of late over here and I don't want to do all the extra producing that's involved with it. And yet I don't want to like say what the Cyclone was going to say to Correa and Flores. So I'll just say it. Who ordered the code red? Who killed the Cyclones' chances? Because that set with Correa and Flores was a little bit fishy. Just imagine that a Cyclone delivered it and it's in a low voice and, it's not a real person, a little less serious. But look at me, I'm in a robe. Like, I'm doing my best covering highlight. But who ordered the code red, Renegades? Did you order the code red, Correa? Did you order the code red, Flores? Did you order the code red, Go Cherry? Who killed our season and ordered Correa and Flores to go out there and suck? Well, you know what? We've been there, Correa and Flores, trusting in them for our season and finding out you're just not good enough to save the Cyclone season. Been there, done that, and a shame that we put ourselves in that position once again. But did somebody order a code red on our season? Because here's the deal, Renegades. This was all in your court. You could have decided who you played in the playoff because you take care of business against Jedin and Cabrera, and you're not playing the Fireballs. You're playing us. And who knows what's happening there. But now we're going to transition away from the Fireball season, and we're going to talk playoff predictions. And you know what game we're going to predict and break down first, ladies and gentlemen? We're going to talk about the Fireballs versus the Renegades, the game that you decided to set up, ladies and gentlemen. So, what have we got here? And this is interesting as I look at it right away. Ikeda and Ubia are going against Joseph and Ben. Joseph is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 matches on the day. So this is a wrinkle I was actually not familiar with. There's a Joseph and Ben. Joseph has been this is, holy smokes, folks. Is there a 7-match thing on the 6th for the other team? There's 7 matches there too. Manny and Stan, Itubide and Guy. Okay, this is a new wrinkle. There's only 7. Oh my goodness, you guys, this is a huge game changer for the Battle Corps playoffs. I guess I understand why they added this, but this is honestly, I'm going to break this all down. This is all new to me. I'm discovering this live. We're going to rip the lid off this right now. Holy smokes. I wasn't going to record for too long on this, but now we've really got to dig down deep. I'm a little confused as to this. And honestly, Battle Chords. Scott. Look at me, Scott. Man, I want to bust out the Cyclone right now and say this to you as the Cyclone. But again, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to take the time to change it. So I guess I'll just say it with my whole face and everything on here. Scott, what are you doing? This is super fishy and suspicious, bro. This is a bad look, and I'm going to explain to you why it's a bad look. So there's only 6 division teams, right? So tiebreaker, right? Because what if you play and it's 3-3? How are you going to settle a tiebreaker? I guess the tiebreaker's in there where now you have to create a 7th division team. But, that's interesting. Hey, Nasty Nate, who's the 7th team that's created by both teams? Okay, I see Ikeda and Ubia is a team that the Fireballs created. That's not bad, right? Ikeda is, I gotta stop and break down all the divisions. Like, okay, Jedin is 6, Cabrera is 5, so Ikeda's 4, and Ubia is 3. So that's a 4 and a 3. Well, hey, who's the Division 7 team for the Renegades there? Is it something equivalent? You got Ben. Hey, Ben's a Division 4 player. That lines up with Ikeda. Okay, although I'd favor Ikeda over Ben. Who's the other player Ben's playing with? Joseph. Undrafted player. How's that happening for the Renegades that they're not sliding in Goanaga, their Division 3 player? Why is it not Goanaga and Ben as their team? Because let's see. Ikeda. Okay, now I'm going through this here. Jedin and Ikeda and What the heck? Somebody's going to have to explain this to me because now I'm confused. The 2 Division 1. So I am so confused at a loss as to why this is happening. But it's groundbreaking because I look at this and you know what I see, folks? I see the potential for a Renegades being upset by the Fireballs. Because let me tell you, that's match 1. I highly favor Ikeda and Ubia versus Joseph over Ben. Like, Correa and Ben was a terrible team. You think Joseph and Ben is going to be any better? It's going to be worse. And Ikeda and Ubia took care of business when it came to that. Iñaki and Cabrera versus Goanaga and Anats. Again, favor Goanaga and Arats there. No problem. Hormachea and Ubia. And here's where, guess what, Renegades? You made your bed, now lie in it. Hormachea was not there. You got to forfeit for this match. And Gocherry and Ben, this team on the season 6-3. Solid team. But guess what? That's something where 13-point differential, solid win percentage, not the best point differential. This is a team where like Gocherry has to work to make this happen. And Gocherry's like a high energy player. Like, he moves all over the court. And I said this with Bleckman, I think Gocherry pushes himself a little bit too hard and tires himself out when playing with Ben and tries to do too much. Sometimes, if he gets in the wrong headspace, he starts going for too much stuff and makes mistakes. And Hormachea, you guys, Hormachea has been good. He is here. And you know what? If I was the Renegades, I would have done my damnedest to not play the Fireballs, knowing that they were going to get Hormachea back. You done messed up. You made your bed. You didn't let us into the playoffs. You didn't want to see us. You wanted to see the Fireballs. Well, guess what? Oh, dang it. Now you're telling me my hotkeys aren't working. I'm supposed to drop a put the town on alert there, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why it's not working.
Put this town on alert.
There we go. Put this town on alert, ladies and gentlemen.
Put the town on alert.
I think attention should be paid.
Wake up, ladies and gentlemen. I think there's some value bets right here on just moneyline, upset, whatever. Bet it on the Fireballs to take down the Renegades. Because guess what? I think Hormachea and Ubia that's like 50-50, 60-40. Gocherry and Ben are going to come away. And you look at that, that's a 2-1 lead at that point. And then who's coming up next in match 4 on the day? Correa and Flores versus Jedin and Cabrera. Womp, womp, womp. That's not good. And now, guys, guess what? I figured it out. I guess for whatever reason, Correa can't make that first match. So I take it back, Scott. Sorry. It took me a little bit. Maybe I should have looked at this and responded a little bit. I'm guessing for whatever reason, this match, is this the first match of the day? It is the first match of the day. So maybe Correa has a conflict and he can't. But oh my goodness, all these scheduling conflicts that benefit the Fireballs, like Manu didn't get to play on a Friday game day. I mean, you could say, I guess, the Fireballs had scheduling conflicts too with Hormachea being out of the country, but that was always going to happen. Like, we have players who are in the country all the time and they can't play a playoff match for, I mean, I got to understand why Correa is not playing in that first one. Not like it would make that much of a difference. But anyway, I still, even if it was Correa, I'd be putting the town on alert. And again, my sounds aren't working.
Put this town on alert.
So I'm gonna run out of those because I put a lot of different ones. For whatever reason, my hotkeys are only firing them off and not resetting them. But anyway, we could be looking at, we're at match 4 and it's already 3-1 Fireballs, which means you're going to have to go 7 if you want to win. And again, in the next 3, I would say you 100% favor Gocherry and Arats in the next one over Iñaki and Ubia. Yeah, you definitely favor them over that. Goenaga and Flores, again, you favor them over Jedin and Ikeda, although I believe they pushed each other 2-3, which again, that's something where, like, Goenaga, solid player, and, you know, here's one thing, they pushed him to 3. Here's another thing that I'd say. Ikeda. He didn't pan out as a Fireball. Or, well, no, he's a solid player, but we just didn't get the type of play out of him that we wanted to see. Too conservative with us. Would just throw and throw and throw and throw the same shot and not make a lot of kill shots or stuff and do the same thing over and over. Like, I can't tell you last season how many times I watched freaking long ass matches with Ikeda go 3 sets that lasted forever, and it's just Ikeda throwing it to the back corner, hoping that Arats would drop it. Ikeda throwing it to the back corner. Is Arats gonna drop it? Or throwing it to the back corner, testing another solid back quarter when it's like, dude, move the shots around, make the other team move, and get that lower front quarter doing something. Well, guess what? Ikeda playing for the Fireballs for whatever reason is now like, yeah, dog, I'll play in the back. I don't have to be a front quarter, because guess what? When he played with us, he was a front quarter and he refused to go in the back. And who had to play out of position? The consummate teammate, which Battle Court, you need to put in like a teammate of some sort of like teammate of the year, best teammate, Bueno for teammate of the year. Give this guy teammate of the year. He didn't make the playoffs, but nobody did more and was a better teammate for their team than Bueno. Shout out, teammate of the year. Make it happen, Battle Court. You need some sort of thing like that. Who would be runner-up? Ben. Highlight Mom, teammate of the year, runner-up, Ben. Good job, guys. Okay, there's my 2 teammate of the year awards right there. So, back to what I'm saying about Ikeda. He's now playing backcourt. He's backcourt for, I think I might have flipped that. He's backcourt for the Fireball, something he wasn't willing to do with us. And you know what? Ikeda is consistent, solid catcher, solid throws made. And now Jedin doesn't have to play out of position to be with him. Jedin can be up in the front court, and they push him to 3. And guess what? You know what Ikeda is going to do? He's going to catch and he's going to drag that match out. And every once in a while, Ikeda is going to get that upset because he is going to catch consistently and he is going to push. And if you're not 100% on your A game, which is what Ikeda is looking for, you could get the upset. And right there in the final game match of the thing, which I do at the very least, this thing's going 6. It's going to go 6 for sure. That's what we learned. Joseph and Ben, you might as well just forfeit that match. Saves Ben energy, although Go Cherry's going to help him save his energy too when he plays later. Correa and Flores, there's 2 right there. So this thing has to go 6 for the Renegades, which means if you're the Renegades and you win all that, you got to win that. Otherwise, the tiebreaker is your Division 1 teams playing again. That's the tiebreaker, which that's a good tiebreaker. Can understand that, best of the best, but that's a lot for Go Cherry to play if it does go. I mean, a lot for Rots to play too. But again, Go Cherry, front quarter, high octane player. Is he going to have what it takes when it's Inaki and Ubia? But that's enough of that, right? Put the town on alert. Renegades, you done gone and ordered the code red on our season, and you're going to get what you paid for. I think you set yourself up for a harder game day. I mean, personally, I would want to see that, seeing this. Like, oh man, I am just really our 4. We would have totally eaten Joseph and Ben's lunch. Our Division 3 team, that would have been a tough one. Bueno and Manu have not been as good for us this season versus Goanaga and Arats. I think our Division 2 team is Amigarena and Ferranda. They haven't been that solid, but they could have pushed Go Cherry and Ben, and I think they have pushed them in the past. They just didn't come through with the win. Our Division 6 team, we should beat Jedin and Cabrera, but that would be a tougher match for Rock and Bueno. Sorry, they'd be playing Correa and Flores. What am I talking about? We'd have wiped the floor with them, even though we did have that one match that we won't talk about where it went 3. Our Division 1, yeah, that one would have been tough. Ferranda and Manu, not sure. And then our Division 5 team, that would have been Ron and Rock. Would that have been? That'd be, I mean, Goanaga and Flores. Like Ron, if Ron can summon it, that'd have been a battle again. But Renegades, look out. If the Renegades win it, I don't think they have to go 6 at the very least. This is a team that has 2 very weak teams, which is a very risky proposition. And with that, we move on to Warriors Chargers. So, match 1, who do I like? I'm picking the Fireballs, ladies and gentlemen. Expect the upset. So now, Division 4 leads us off. Manny and Stan versus Iturbide and Gaio. Division 3, Julian and Nicholas versus Zuleika and Arta. Division 2, Douglas and Manny versus Iturbide and Bene Pasta. Williams and Stan versus El Barba and Gaio. Douglas and Nicholas versus Zuleika and Benny. Okay. So now here we figure something out. Guess what? It's not, the tiebreaker is not your Division 1 team playing again. It is, I guess, the higher, I'm assuming here's what it is. The higher ranked team gets to pick their doubles team that plays twice on the day. So the Chargers have selected that Iturbide and Gaio play Manny and Stan. And I'd say that's like a pretty good choice because Manny and Stan have struggled. They're both kind of, they've flip-flop positions, so it's been a difficult go for the 2 as a team. They're both backcourters, really, and they're they're both, one of them has to play out of position. And at the start, it was Stan playing out of position, and they flip flopped. Um, did that lead to more success? I don't know. I'd love to tell you, but again, there's not a big commitment to the Hynalytics here, folks, ladies and gentlemen. Um, as a team overall on the year, they haven't even been keeping up with their record. I see here it's only 1-3, negative 11 point differential. I know this team. I feel like this team has played more. Maybe I've missed some injuries and they've been a lot of subs, but they haven't been a good team. But I see that, and I already immediately understood why they would target that team, because they've been having to mix it up and try to take advantage of it. And we'll see. We'll see how that plays on the game day, if they even need to go to 7. Manny and Stan, so we'll chalk that up as a loss for the Warriors. Julian and Nicholas versus Zuleika and Arta. Zuleika and Arta, that is a 500 team on the year. Julian and Nicholas, I would favor Julian and Nicholas for that one there. So we're saying 1-1. Douglas and Manny versus Iturbide and Benny. Douglas and Manny, 6-4, 12-point differential. And we have Iturbide and Benny. They are 8-2, solid team. We're going to go Iturbide and Benny. Their point differential is not that high, so they've played some close matches there. But yeah, Chargers overall, I mean, I favor Chargers. Warriors have just not been a consistent team. Again, they just have not. They've a lot of draws on the game day, not a lot of convincing wins, some bad losses. Again, if we play better against them, they might be one of the teams looking on the outside, but you guys don't want to hear me complain anymore about the Cyclones. So we're saying Douglas and Manny take it down. So we're saying 2-1 Warriors here. Williams and Stan versus El Barba and Gallo. El Barba and Gallo, that's a 500 team. Williams and Stan as a team on the year, they are 2-7. Yeah, I did not think they were a good team. I was going to go El Barba and Gallo on this one here. It's just El Barba, are you going to wear those mittens? Division 1 team here, Zuleika and Benny versus Douglas and Nicholas. Zuleika and Benny are 6-4 on the year. Douglas and Nicholas on the year 5-4. So toss up. Who do I like? I like Zuleika and Benny in this one. All right. I think level heads prevail. Zuleika and Benny, you know what I think? Level heads. Douglas, I think talent, but I think a little emotion, and that can sometimes catch up with him. Level heads prevail there. We are going with Zuleika and Benny. Then we got Williams and Julian versus El Barba and Arta. Williams and Julian, this has been a solid team on the year. They are 7-3. Not a very high point differential, but again, Julian's a solid player. And Williams, he can be, I think, better than you think. El Barba and Arta as a team 2-8, which again, that just makes that mitten loss, which again, we'd be in the playoffs here if we didn't lose to this team, even though Bueno and Rock were up there. It's interesting. I don't know, though, if that necessarily counts towards their win percentage, because anyway, whatever. I'm not going to break it all down. I'm not necessarily certain if that win goes into their 2-8 record. So who do we like there? I mean, we're going to go that we like Julian. and Williams there. So we've got Julian and so we're gonna have to go 7. So we've got both of these matches going 7 here. Gonna be a wild and crazy playoffs. I think everybody's going 7 here to make it through the first day. And who do I like? Game 7, Manny and Stan versus Iturbide and Gaio. You know what, folks? Don't count Manny out. We're going Manny and Stan. I think Manny's going to summon something on the day. We're going Warriors. Sorry, Chargers. You've come on strong as late. I am predicting and believing in Manny. You cannot take the clone cartel out of Manny. Manny's going to make something happen. Those are our playoff predictions, and that's going to wrap it up for us. Playoffs happening this Friday. Tune in, folks. We'll give you another episode breaking down the championship, which is next Friday. This has been God Bless Alai.